Hello everyone, it's me again. Today I will recap the movie John Wick Part 3, Parabellum. In this episode, John Wick asked for help from the horses, and each kick was fatal. So what fate does assassin John Wick face, and whether he could overcome it? Please watch today's recap. Killing an entire gang because of a dog. This time John broke the rules, causing bloodshed in a hotel. Even the hotel owner, who was his good friend, could not save him. Winston offered a reward of $14 million. In 1 hour, all the assassins of the underworld will start hunting John. John was sentenced, eliminated. His only worry at the moment was his pet dog. He asked the taxi driver, with his last gold coin, to ask him to take his pet dog to the hotel. The hotel manager would take care of it for him, and he would go to the city library alone to find a book he had hidden. This was all John had left: a few gold coins, a cross necklace, and a picture of his late wife. These were the last marks in John's life. The time for the expulsion order had not yet come, but someone came to find him. He wanted to seize the opportunity. Without thinking, he pulled out a knife and rushed towards John. John was fed up with the move, using the book as a hammer, as a weapon to fight back. Then, hitting the other guy's vitals, the other guy was immediately beaten until he was in a daze. After that, John dragged his injured body to find his doctor friend. Although it was almost time, he still tried to bandage John. Only halfway through the stitching, the time had come, the doctor had to stop. John had no choice but to continue sewing himself. He had done this before. The doctor would be punished if he helped John, so John had to shoot him twice to create a fake scene. John immediately ran away. To the assassins outside, he was now a walking horse trough. They immediately chased after him. John ran into a weapons store, then broke the glass to get a gun. Just as he finished assembling a classic gun, another assassin rushed in. He used the new gun to kill him immediately. Antiques were always the right choice. Although he had taken down one person, there were still two more. Even though he was injured, John still had more than enough strength to fight these guys. Both sides saw all kinds of weapons behind them and wanted to break the glass to get it out. John quickly used a knife to control the opponent. While struggling with this guy, John was kicked in the face by the other guy. John almost got hit by a knife thrown at him, but he quickly dodged it. Then a knife-throwing scene began. The two sides charged back and forth. John grabbed one of them as a shield, and he was immediately stabbed by his teammates. Another guy just ran over. Before he could do anything, he was killed. John had just gone outside for a short while when he was hit by two cars in succession. He fell onto the road. John tried to stand up and ran into a horse farm. A group of assassins chasing after him. John patted the horses and it kicked the assassin right in the face. John fought with his bare hands, lifting the assassin onto his shoulders and then slamming him down. Then, with the help of the horses, it delivered fatal kicks to the assassins. As for the last guy, John wrapped a cloth string around his neck, then mounted his horse and galloped away. The assassin was dragged behind, John finishing him off with a smash into the horse trough. He rode his horse out onto the road, and a group of assassins on motorbikes chased after him. When one tried to pull him down, John quickly shot him down with a few bullets. Another guy was also immediately shot to death by him. Then John went to a place, took out the cross necklace, and asked to meet someone. It was the sister who had taken care of and raised John. But the situation was different now. No one dared to take him in, not even director. So John took out the cross. This was a contract that she had to help John. But after using this ticket, John was no longer related to this place. After that, the pendant was heated and imprinted on his back. In return, she would help John escape to Casablanca. A woman with a tomboy hairstyle entered the hotel, then took out a coin, proving her powerful identity. That was a supreme judge. The role of adjudicator is the judge. She went to see the hotel manager. Because Winston had helped John, the judge decided to take back his hotel management rights. Within a week, Winston had to hand over the job. The judge then went to another place, the place of the beggar king, Bowery, because he had provided John with a gun and 7 bullets. But Bowery did not want to hand over the power. This was his punishment, 7 slashes corresponding to 7 bullets. The third person to be judged was director. No explanation, no resistance, a sword strike through the hand. That was the lightest punishment. At this time, John had arrived at Casablanca. The assassins here also received a notice to expel John, but the hotel staff here protected him into the hotel safely. As soon as Sophia appeared, she gave John a welcome bullet. John was now like a plague. No one dared to help him. Sophia was also a famous assassin, but John had helped her before. He showed his blood seal and asked Sophia to repay it, by taking him to the elder. The second rule was to respect the blood seal. Sophia had no choice but to follow the blood seal contract. After equipping her dog with a bulletproof vest, Sophia took John to see her old boss, Barada. When they arrived at the reception, John immediately said that he hoped to know where the four Supremes were. This man revealed that if he wanted to find it, he would go to the desert, but whether he could find it or not, it depended on John's luck. After receiving the answer, the two of them breathed a sigh of relief and left. But it wasn't that easy. They had to leave Sophia's dog behind. Sophia refused without thinking, and her old boss immediately shot the dog. Fortunately, it was wearing a bulletproof vest, but even so, it still couldn't stand up. John asked her if she was okay. She immediately shot Barada. His men rushed in. John and Sophia together eliminated them one by one. She pulled out a gun and shot Barada. He was crawling on the ground when the dog rushed in and bit him. The two of them gradually retreated, but the guards blocked their way. The two of them worked together to break through the encirclement and escape, but there were still many guards. Sophia's dogs also joined the fight. The two dogs also continuously killed many soldier names. The two people and two dogs work together. Sophia provides cover fire for two dogs. In a short time, the two of them swept through the entire base, and in a moment, only them of them were left alive. When the two of them went out, a car immediately blocked the path. The two people and two dogs finished them all. Sophia drove into the desert, then dropped John off. Her blood contract also ended. Only John was left. He didn't know how long. He had been walking until he was exhausted and fainted. When John woke up, he met the leader of the guild. Elder said that if John wanted to live, he would work for the guild for the rest of his life, and the expulsion order would be closed. Kill Winston, that was the first task. Since he had chosen to survive, now, the first thing to do was to show his loyalty. That was to cut off one of his fingers. After that, John returned to New York. As soon as he got off the train, his two assassins were stabbed in the back by Zero's men and were killed on the spot. They then signaled John alone to go to the square to meet Zero. It was a fan of John. Taking down John was his biggest goal. His soldiers also came to John's side. While they talking, John pulled out a knife, decisively finished off his opponent, then disappeared into the crowd. Just out of the station, a moto came. After killing two motorcyclists, John got on the car and drove straight back to the hotel. Zero and his men chased after him. Very quickly, they caught up with John. Each pulled out his sword and began to surround John. John reacted quickly and took down one, but another immediately took his place. John successfully took the knife. One was killed. His car fell down, causing their cars to crash into each other. Continuing, with two cars left, John swung his knife at his face. Now Zero's car was the last one left. When crossing the bridge, only Zero and John were left. The two pressed their cars together, falling in front of the Continental Hotel. But John touched the hotel stairs. If the bald head kills John, he will be expelled like John. He went to the hotel to meet Winston. John's mission was to come here and kill him. Winston was ready. Now whether to kill him or not depends on his heart. Kill him or confront the Supreme Society together. John held the gun and looked at his missing finger. He chose to confront the Supreme Society with Winston. Then, the adjudicator came, listening to the two people's decision. She called the service department, announced the hotel was closed, and said that the messenger would come to liquidate the gates soon. Neither of them showed any signs of fear. Winston asked John what he needed. John calmly replied that he needed a lot of guns. Winston led him to the hotel's armory. Together they chose guns for John. At this time, two buses carrying elite soldiers of the Supreme Society arrived in front of the hotel. They dropped blind bombs, but the guard quickly turned off the lights. John turned on hunting mode. Gunshots rang out everywhere. But these guys were wearing modified armor, so the bullets were useless. The advantage was almost one-sided. John had difficulty killing them. Killing one person would require more bullets. It wouldn't be good to keep going like this. He had just fired the last bullet, and he couldn't fight hand-to-hand. So John hurriedly returned to the armory, took out a gun with armor-piercing bullets, and returned to the battlefield again. This was a type of firepower with great destructive power. Now John could work at full capacity. Bullets were continuously loaded into the pulse. One by one, he killed all the enemies. With each shot, an enemy died at his hands. After many fierce attacks, the elite troops were completely destroyed. When he went up to the second floor, two of Zero's subordinates were waiting for him. John took out his belt to fight 1-on-2. Although the opponent was agile, John's strength was not ordinary. After a while of struggling, John blocked the two knives at once, then took down each one of them. Then he took a sword and went to Zero. This was a life-and-death battle. Zero was also a man with strong fighting power. After a while of struggling, John finally stabbed the sword through Zero's chest, taking down him. The judge did not expect John to be so terrifying, and could no longer keep calm, and called Winston to negotiate. Winston and the judge are on the roof, either continue the war or return the hotel to Winston. The judge makes a request, which is to deal with John. At this time, John has also arrived. Winston shoots John without explanation. The judge is very satisfied. Winston is immediately restored to power. But he knows that John is not so easy to die. He is only seriously injured, and is brought back by the Beggar King's soldiers. After suffering 7 slashes from Zero, Bowery swears that they will regret it, and he asks John what he thinks about it. John raises his finger, his face cold, and he says, "It's fun." This is the end of the 3rd part of the John Wick series. The Legend of Boogeyman of the Underworld still has part 4, guys. The future of assassin John Wick cooperating with the Beggar King to take revenge on the Supreme Society is coming soon. Surely this war will overthrow an entire empire of assassin corporations. If you find it interesting, please give me a like and a comment about this movie. Especially, please subscribe to the channel to follow my movie recap. See you again, my dear friends.